And did your loyal friends lie shatter your entire reality? I literally just found out the entire reason my life has been hell for the last 2 years wasn't because of corporate stress or the economy, but because my so-called loyal best friend was participating in a spectacular, psychotic betrayal involving a false pregnancy claim. I'm sitting in my beat-up 2018 Honda Civic in the Starbucks drive-thru parking lot at 3:17 a.m. and I cannot stop shaking. I am so done. Just totally, utterly done. Don't even know where to start with this dumpster fire, honestly. I guess I have to set the scene and brace yourselves because this involves lab work, toxic relationships, and an obscene amount of passive aggression. My name is Megan King, 63F. Yeah, 63. I know, I shouldn't be dealing with this kind of ridiculous drama, but apparently, drama has no age limit, especially when you work in toxic environments. I'm a corporate drone. I've spent the last 40 years staring at spreadsheets and dreaming of retirement, which was supposed to happen next year, NGL. I was doing a voluntary professional development certificate at the local community college, just to keep my brain from turning completely to mush, you know? That's where I met these 3 clowns. We were assigned as lab partners for an advanced molecular genetics class. We had to work in this tight group for the entire semester, and we actually became pretty close, or so I thought. We were the mature team, full of old fogies trying to prove we weren't ready for the nursing home yet. There's Adam Thompson, 34M. Adam is basically the definition of an authority figure complex wrapped up in a slightly too tight business casual wardrobe. Works as a middle manager at some finance firm and always acted like he was grading us, even though he's the one who kept contaminating the cultures. He was always trying to take charge, making snide remarks about my data entry skills and generally acting superior. He'd correct my grammar in shared documents, the audacity. But he was also the one who brought the good coffee and the expensive Starbucks pastries every Tuesday morning. I thought, okay, annoying but harmless, maybe he just needs to feel important. Past me was such an idiot. Then there was Wayne Edwards, 70M. Wayne, sweet Wayne, who I genuinely thought was my friend. Wayne is a classic loyal pet type. He retired early from the post office and just loves feeling useful. He was the one who kept track of all the tiny details, the supply lists, the exact reagent amounts. Wayne would constantly defer to Adam, saying things like, whatever Adam thinks is best, even when Adam was clearly suggesting something nonsensical, like centrifuging the enzyme solution at 10,000 GS. Wayne was always doing little favors, too. He fixed my printer one-time $85 charge saved right there. He even set up my new Netflix profile. And finally, Philip Lewis, 57M. Philip is the entitled wedding guest archetype, except we weren't at a wedding, we were trying to isolate RNA. He was constantly complaining about the lab temperature, his sciatica, the cost of parking, $15 a day at the 5th floor garage I checked, and his impending daughter's destination wedding in Turks and Caicos, which he constantly reminded us was costing a fortune. Philip barely showed up. He used half of his PTO hours just to stay home and supervise the landscapers. When he did come in, he was usually late, smelling faintly of stale cigar smoke, and demanding someone bring him a latte from the coffee shop on Main Street. So, the 4 of us are working on this ridiculously complex final project. We needed total cooperation, and for a few months, we actually had it. We even started hanging out outside of the lab. I'd go for early bird dinners at Olive Garden on Tuesdays, splitting the $347 bill, because Philip would always order 2 appetizers and then pretend he didn't see the total. The core of the issue, the big reveal that has me dry sobbing into my Talenti gelato right now, revolves entirely around Adam. About 8 months ago, Adam started talking about a personal crisis. He was vague, moody, and suddenly needed to borrow money constantly. He'd sell me $200 requests for emergency car repairs or unexpected vet bills, but never paid me back. NGL, I was worried. He was always on his iPhone 14, looking stressed and taking mysterious calls where he'd whisper, "Yes, I handled it, don't worry." I started noticing major financial weirdness. Adam was always stressed about the $1,247 rent for his apartment 3B, but he was also driving a BMW he clearly couldn't afford and dropping brand names like they were going out of style. He'd talk about his Peloton subscription and his new Apple Watch, but then he'd Venmo request me $43.67 for a shared Costco run. The math wasn't mathing, you know? Wayne started acting weird too. Wayne, who's usually the most dependable human on earth, suddenly looked gaunt. He stopped eating the breadsticks at Olive Garden. He was using excessive amounts of his sick days at home. It all came to a head last Tuesday at 11:47 a.m. We were in the lab, trying to run the gel electrophoresis again. Adam was already irritable because he'd gotten into a fight with someone. We could all hear his side of the argument echoing from the fire escape stairwell where he took his private calls. He came back into the lab and slammed the door. He looked at Wayne and said, totally deadpan, "The appointment is Friday. You better not screw this up, Wayne. This is your last chance." Wayne, my sweet 70-year-old loyal pet friend, looked like he was going to throw up. His hands were shaking so badly he dropped a vial of buffer solution. "Adam, wait, what?" I stammered. "What appointment? Is everything okay?" Adam shot me a look of pure ice. "It's personal, Megan. Nothing to concern yourself with." Philip predictably chimed in. "Seriously, Adam, some of us have deadlines. My daughter needs me to look at the RSVP list again. This drama is exhausting." I decided to trust my gut. My gut, which had been telling me something was deeply wrong since Adam tried to use my Amazon account to buy a $600 stroller 3 weeks ago. I caught the notification and changed my password immediately. Later that evening, around 5:30 p.m., I was packing up my laptop. I had about 247 unread emails in my inbox and 3 Zoom meetings scheduled for the next day, so I was rushing. Wayne stayed late, which was unlike him. He was wiping down the countertops with a frantic energy, even though the janitorial staff handles that. I walked over to him. Wayne, seriously, what is going on? You look terrible. Are you sick? He looked up at me, eyes red-rimmed. Megan, please, you need to stop asking questions. I just stood there trying to maintain eye contact. Wayne, we've been lab partners for 8 months. We've split $85 plumber charges when Philip caused a drain clog. We've been through it. What is Adam doing to you? Is he threatening you? Wayne started crying. Not just watery eyes, but full, snot everywhere, ugly crying. He leaned against the countertop, pulling out a paper towel, mascara running down his face. He always wears eyeliner. I know, but whatever, he owns it. He's going to ruin me, Megan, Wayne whispered, his voice cracking. He's going to tell everyone I'm unreliable. I'm an old man, nobody will hire me for even volunteer work if Adam spreads the word. Tell everyone what? You failed the DNA extraction? Who cares? He shook his head violently. No, not the lab, it's about the arrangement. I felt my stomach drop. Arrangement? He pulled out his Samsung Galaxy. The battery was at 3% naturally and started frantically scrolling through his text history. He finally found what he was looking for and shoved the cracked screen into my face. It was a text thread between Wayne and Adam, dated from about 6 months ago. I scanned the messages. Wayne, I can't keep lying about this. She's starting to ask questions. Adam, you promised, Wayne. The money keeps flowing as long as the story holds. She's getting suspicious. Keep your mouth shut. Wayne, she's talking about buying baby furniture at IKEA. This is too much. Adam, don't worry about it. Just keep telling her the doc appointments are fine. Remember, she thinks you are the father. I read that last line 3 times. She thinks you are the father. Wayne, 70M, was apparently pretending to be the father of a pregnant woman, all orchestrated by Adam, 34M. I felt the blood drain from my head. I wanted to scream, but we were technically on school property. Wayne, wait, I whispered, barely able to speak. Who is she, and why does Adam care who the father is? Wayne wiped his nose on his sleeve. It's Joyce. Joyce McLaughlin, 62F. I knew Joyce. Joyce McLaughlin was the eccentric elder who had been doing the administrative paperwork for the college department for 30 years. She was always wearing mismatched clothes and talking about her 50 cats. She also occasionally baked us terrible, dense sugar cookies. She was exactly 62, always talking about her new Hulu subscription and how she could never figure out the settings on her Ring doorbell. Joyce is pregnant? I asked. This was biologically impossible, or at least highly improbable for a woman her age. Wayne, that makes no sense. It's fake, Megan. It's a false pregnancy claim, Wayne admitted, voice barely audible. She's faking it. She's wearing a prosthetic stomach. She and Adam are in this together. My jaw literally dropped, like cartoon character jaw drop. The shock was so profound I forgot I had to leave for an early dinner engagement. Wayne explained everything in a torrent of guilt and misery. Apparently, Adam had been running some kind of elaborate con. He had convinced Joyce that if she played along with a fake pregnancy and claimed Wayne was the father, because Wayne is older and therefore easily disposable, I guess the disrespect, they could scam someone out of a huge amount of cash. Who are they scamming, Wayne? I asked, my voice rising. Someone rich and important, Wayne mumbled. Someone Adam hates. I don't know the full details, but Adam needed a fall guy and he used me. He promised me $5,000 for my silence and participation, which I desperately needed because my pension isn't enough and I had $200 withdrawals every week to cover debts. I felt nauseous. This was so much worse than a slight embezzlement scheme. This was criminal, elaborate, and involved poor Joyce wearing a fake bump while Adam pulled the strings. Did you get the money? Only $1,500 so far, Wayne said miserably. Adam keeps saying the rest is coming, but then he zells me a $47 request for lunch money the next day. He's controlling everything. I realized Adam wasn't just authority figure annoying, he was a full-blown sociopath manipulator. All those times he corrected me, all those times he demanded control over the lab data, it was all practice for running his side hustle of highly specific fraud. I looked at the text message thread again. Adam, keep her away from Philip too. Asks too many questions. Why Philip? I asked Wayne. Philip is the target, Megan, Wayne choked out. The fake pregnancy, the fake father, it's all aimed at Philip. The entitled wedding guest, Philip Lewis, 57M, the one who was constantly whining about the cost of his daughter's wedding and how much money he was losing. Wait, why would they target Philip? What did he do? Wayne took a deep, shuddering breath. Philip is married to Adam's ex-wife's sister. Had a huge family feud involving an inheritance and Adam wants revenge. He figured if he could make Philip believe he impregnated an older woman right before his daughter's expensive destination wedding, Philip would pay anything, literally anything, to keep the scandal quiet. Holy shit. This went from annoying lab partner drama to full-blown revenge plot using my dear friend Wayne and the eccentric department admin Joyce's pawns. I was raging. I wanted to key Adam's ridiculous BMW. I wanted to call Philip's daughter and tell her she should postpone the wedding because her dad was about to go bankrupt due to a psycho lab partner. But then Wayne said something that stopped my entire thought process cold. Adam told me the fake ultrasound appointment for this Friday, the one he mentioned earlier, is going to be the final step, Wayne said. He told Joyce that Philip would be so desperate to make this problem go away before the wedding that he's prepared to give them a massive settlement. How much settlement? I asked, completely numb. Adam said they were going to demand $150,000. $150,000, just to cover up a fake pregnancy supposedly fathered by a 70-year-old retired postal worker designed to ruin a 57-year-old entitled wedding guest. I spent the next 48 hours in a state of hyperalert paranoia. I was glued to my phone, trying to formulate a plan. I couldn't go to the police yet because I only had Wayne's panic texts as evidence, and Wayne was too terrified to talk to anyone official. I tried to talk to my friend Jess, who has zero filter, love her, but she just kept saying, "Girl, what the fuck? This is some Lifetime movie shit." I was supposed to confront Adam yesterday morning. I planned out exactly what I was going to say. I even wrote down 3 pages of bullet points on my iPhone 14, storage finally free, thank God. I was going to leverage his control over Wayne and Joyce to make him back down. I felt strong. I felt ready. I went into the lab early Tuesday morning. Adam wasn't there yet, but Philip was, complaining about the cost of airline tickets and how his wife was making him sign up for another financial planning session. Then, my phone rang. It was Joyce McLaughlin, 62F. "Megan, thank goodness," she whispered. Her voice sounded strained, like she was holding back tears. "Adam is furious. He found out Wayne told you everything." My heart hammered against my ribs. I looked at Philip, who was still droning on about caviar prices. "Joyce, where are you? Are you okay?" "I am in the break room pretending to fix the vending machine," she hissed. "I am terrified. Adam just showed me the contract. He's going to make it look like I defrauded him, not the other way around. He's telling everyone he was trying to help me and that I'm crazy, and he's been gaslighting me, saying things like, 'That never happened and you're remembering it wrong.' He's going to pin all the fraud on me and Wayne." The rage I felt, I saw red. The audacity. The sheer audacity of this man to target his own pawns when they tried to escape. "Don't worry, Joyce, I'm going to handle this." "Stay put," I said, trying to sound calmer than I felt. I walked straight out of the lab, completely forgetting the $1,247 rent check I needed to mail and the $43.67 grocery bill in my purse. I marched to the 5th floor office where Adam worked, ignoring the 27 calls I had missed in the last hour, probably all Adam or Wayne, trying to warn me off. I burst into the cubicle farm. Adam was there, talking loudly on his phone, leaning back in his expensive office chair. "Yes, I know she's being dramatic," I heard him say into the receiver. "You're being too sensitive. I never said that." Classic gaslighting phrases. I stood there, arms crossed. He finally noticed me. He hung up immediately. "Megan, to what do I owe the pleasure of this highly unprofessional appearance?" he sneered. "Cut the crap, Adam," I said. My voice was tight. "I know about the fake pregnancy. I know about Joyce and Wayne. I know you're trying to set Philip up." Adam actually laughed, like a full-bellied, cold laugh. "You really think I'd be that foolish? Megan, you spend all day reading about corporate espionage. Did you really think I'd leave a paper trail you could find? You left a terrified 70-year-old man who tells me everything," I shot back. "Wayne showed me the texts." Adam's expression hardened. "Wayne is an old fool. He'll deny everything when I'm done with him. He's already fragile. He needs me." "It's over, Adam. You need to call this whole thing off," I insisted. "Tell Philip it was a mistake. Give Wayne and Joyce back their freedom." Adam leaned forward, his smugness returning. "Or what? You'll go to the police? With what evidence? An old woman claiming she's pregnant and a senile man who admits he was paid to lie? I'll simply say you're all collaborating to shake me down for revenge because you hate my leadership style in the lab. My reputation here is sterling." He really thought he had me cornered. I felt helpless. He had meticulously planned this, using manipulation and psychological abuse. I looked at him, feeling the rage turn into cold calculation. I wasn't just mad anymore, I was insulted. "You know, Adam," I said slowly, "you're right. I don't have the proof yet that you orchestrated this entire fraud, but I know about the money. I know about the Zelle requests, the Venmo demands, the weird Amazon stroller order, the BMW payments you're missing." I paused for effect. "And you know what else I found out?" I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "Wayne was terrified, but he's not stupid. He gave me the documents this morning, the documents showing where you've been hiding the money you took from everyone, not just Philip." Adam's face went pale. He stood up so fast his expensive chair scraped back on the carpet. "What are you talking about?" he demanded. "I am talking about the secret bank account, Adam," I said, meeting his panicked gaze. "The one you opened 6 months ago, using Joyce's maiden name and Wayne's old post office address. The account where you've been slowly transferring $200 weekly withdrawals that everyone thought was going to you, but was actually being funneled into a separate, untraceable investment account. This was the resolution approach, secret bank account. I was making it up mostly, but Wayne had mentioned Adam making him open a joint account for shared lab expenses, which Adam then took control of. I was taking a calculated risk." Adam visibly started to sweat. He looked around the cubicle, checking to see if anyone was watching. "You're bluffing, Megan," he whispered, his voice shaking. "Am I?" I pulled out my phone. I didn't actually have the account details, but I knew what would terrify him. I didn't open the bank app, I opened my email. "I have everything here, Adam. The documentation proving you were setting up a slush fund and using your friends as cover. I'm giving you until 5:00 p.m. tonight. You call off the fake pregnancy plot, you clear Wayne and Joyce's names, you pay back every dollar you stole from me, Wayne, and Philip. If you don't, this email goes to the college administration, your finance firm, and your mother." I turned and walked away. I felt physically ill, my heart racing, but proud I hadn't stammered. I made it out of the office building and got into my Honda Civic. I was literally shaking. I drove until I hit the Starbucks parking lot. I needed coffee. I needed a plan B. I needed someone to tell me I wasn't being completely crazy. I checked my phone. 47 missed texts. 32 from Adam demanding to know what I knew. 15 from Wayne begging me to back down before Adam hurt him. I looked at the time, 3:28 p.m. 2 hours and 32 minutes until my deadline. Then a text came in, not from Adam, not from Wayne. It was from Philip Lewis, 57M. "Philip, Megan, what the hell is going on? My wife just called me crying. Someone sent her a text message saying I got a woman pregnant and I'm refusing to pay for the termination fee before the wedding. It has the address of that lab we use. I'm serious, did you see anything weird?" My blood ran cold. Adam didn't wait. He didn't blink. He launched the attack anyway, and he used the lab location to make it look legitimate. He called my bluff, and now Philip knows something is going on, but he doesn't know the truth. I tried to call Wayne immediately. Call went straight to voicemail. I called Joyce, same thing. Then my phone buzzed again. It was a picture message from an unknown number. I opened it. It was a photo of a heavily redacted bank statement showing one massive transfer out of an account labeled Wayne Edwards Trust. Under the photo, the text message read, "You thought you were the only one with information, Megan? Guess again. Now you have a new problem. This is only the beginning." I looked at the picture again. Bank statement was dated today. The amount transferred out was exactly $150,000. Adam didn't wait for Philip to pay him. Adam had already taken the money. And that's when I realized Adam hadn't just used Wayne as a fake father. He had somehow, terrifyingly, used Wayne to clean out Philip's bank account, and the secret bank account I had just threatened him with might have been real all along, just not mine. The whole game changed. Adam wasn't just planning fraud, he already executed it, and I had just given him the perfect distraction. I started driving back towards the lab, heart pounding, trying to figure out if I needed to call the cops or a lawyer, or maybe just drive straight into the ocean. When I was 3 blocks from the college, my phone rang again. This time it was a video call from an unfamiliar number. I answered. It was Joyce. She was crying hysterically, mascara everywhere, and she wasn't in the break room. She was sitting in a police interrogation room. "Megan, you have to help us," Joyce sobbed. "Adam didn't pay the lawyer. They think I'm the mastermind. They found the money, $150,000 in cash in a suitcase in my apartment. They think the prosthetic belly was evidence." I wanted to throw up. Adam had framed both his pawns and he was likely walking free. "Joyce, listen to me," I tried to say, but my voice was weak. "Where is Adam?" Joyce shook her head violently. Told me he was going to buy us tickets to the Caribbean. He told me to pack the suitcase for the flight. He said it was filled with old sweaters. He was going to meet me at the airport. He took everything. She wiped her eyes and looked straight into the camera. "But Megan," she whispered, her voice suddenly desperate and low. "Before he left, Adam gave me one last thing. He said it was insurance in case I got cold feet." She held up a small, sealed brown envelope right to the lens. Said this is the real reason he hates Philip. He said this is proof Philip tried to hire Adam years ago to do something terrible, and that Adam had been tracking him ever since. He said this is everything Philip tried to bury. He said if anything happened to Adam, I should open this envelope, cash the check, and give the envelope to the press. "Megan, I haven't opened it. I don't know what it is. And now I'm in jail." My breath caught in my throat. My Honda was idling in the street. Could feel the adrenaline rushing through me. Adam had just escalated this from workplace revenge fraud to something potentially career-ending or worse for Philip Lewis. "Joyce, what kind of check?" I demanded, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white. "It's a cashier's check," she said, her voice shaking with fear and excitement at the same time. "And Megan, it's not $150,000. She paused, looking around the small room before leaning in close. "It's for $2 million. The video call cut out. I was left staring at my reflection in the cracked screen of my phone, the image of Joyce's terrified face, and that ominous brown envelope still burned into my mind. I was terrified, but a part of me, the corporate drone part that dreams of freedom, felt a cold surge of focus. Adam had opened a door, and now I was standing in the doorway holding a massive envelope containing enough money and leverage to fix everything or destroy everyone. I knew I had to get Joyce out of jail, find Wayne, and figure out what terrible secret Philip Lewis was paying $2 million to bury. And I had to do it before Adam disappeared completely, or before the police decided I was his co-conspirator. I put the car in park, took a deep breath, and started driving straight to the police station. But I wasn't going in to talk to the police. I was going to find out where they had taken Joyce, because I needed that envelope. I needed to know what was in there. This was no longer about lab partnership drama. This was about escaping corporate life, securing retirement, and exposing a secret that had a $2 million price tag. I had to get the envelope first. I am literally freaking out. I can't believe this is my life right now. Tell me I'm not crazy for thinking about opening that envelope. I put the car in park, took a deep breath, and started driving straight to the police station. But I wasn't going in to talk to the police. I was going to find out where they had taken Joyce because I needed that envelope. I needed to know what was in there. I am literally freaking out. I can't believe this is my life right now. Tell me I'm not crazy for thinking about opening that envelope. Update: I did not go to the police station like a normal person, because I am not a normal person. I'm a 63-year-old corporate drone on the verge of early retirement who just found out her lab partner is a financial sociopath who committed felony fraud using a fake baby bump. I drove past the station 3 times. The entire time I was thinking, Megan, if you walk in there, they will look at your tax returns, they will see you zelled Adam $200 request 7 times, they will see you were in the lab group, and they will decide you are the ringleader or at least a co-conspirator. Could not risk my retirement savings. NGL, the idea of jail time made my sciatica flare up instantly. I pulled into a Denny's parking lot at 4:30 p.m. I needed coffee and an emergency strategy session with the only person whose judgment I trust implicitly, even though she has zero filter, my friend Jess. Jess, 65F, has been divorced 3 times and currently runs a very successful Etsy store selling custom-knitted cat sweaters. She's highly pragmatic and has a well-documented history of telling men exactly where they can go. I called her. "Jess, I need you. I'm at the Denny's on Highway 17. Bring wine. No, wait, bring cash and maybe a burner phone." I then spent the next hour pacing around the Denny's, trying to call Wayne, still straight to voicemail. I tried to text him, keeping it simple. "Are you safe? Call me." Nothing back. I was worried Adam had done something truly terrible to him, or maybe just taken his ancient Samsung Galaxy and smashed it. Jess arrived at 5:15 p.m. She didn't bring wine. She brought a bottle of expensive single malt scotch and 2 plastic cups, which frankly was better. "Spill it, MK," she said, sliding into the vinyl booth across from me. "You look like you saw the ghost of every spreadsheet you've ever ignored." I gave her the whole rundown. Lab drama, Adam's snobbery, Wayne's loyalty, Philip's entitlement, the fake pregnancy, the $150,000 theft, the deadline I'd set that Adam ignored, and finally the $2 million cashier's check envelope. When I finished, Jess stared at me. Her expression was a mix of awe and terror. "Megan," she said, stirring the scotch with a cheap plastic straw, "you have moved beyond corporate espionage. You are now in the genre of organized crime." "No," I whispered, pulling my hair out. "What do I do about Joyce? She's the only one who can clear Wayne, and she's the only one who has the envelope." Jess thought for a long time. You can't go to the police. Not yet. Adam has framed them perfectly. The cops found $150K in cash in Joyce's apartment and she was wearing a fake belly. The optics are terrible. So how do I get the envelope? You have to bail her out, Jess stated simply. That check is your leverage. $1 million is enough to set you up for life, Megan. Think about it. Retirement next year? Forget it. Retirement now. I choked on my sip of scotch. I don't have enough money to bail her out. I'm struggling with the $1,247 rent for apartment 3B. We don't know the bail amount, Jess said, taking out her phone. But we need to find out. And we need a lawyer, Megan. A dirty, quiet one. I know a guy named Rico. Don't ask. Looked at the time. It was 5:45 p.m. Adam was long gone. My 5:00 p.m. ultimatum was meaningless. We found out from the county website that Joyce was being held on $25,000 bail, pending a formal arraignment on charges of grand larceny and conspiracy to commit fraud. $25,000. I had about $18,000 in my emergency savings, not counting what I needed for the upcoming mortgage payment. S immediately zelled me $7,000, no questions asked. Don't worry about it, you can pay me back when you cash the $2 million, she joked, but she was serious. Go get Joyce, and get the envelope. So 2 days later, Friday morning, which was supposed to be the day of the final ultrasound appointment used to blackmail Philip, I showed up at the bail bonds office. I felt like I was in a bad procedural drama. I handed over the cash. I signed the paperwork. At 11:00 a.m., Joyce McLaughlin walked out of county jail. She looked like death warmed over, wearing the same mismatched floral blouse and track pants she had on when they arrested her. She saw me and burst into fresh tears. Megan, oh thank you, I thought I was going to be knitting prison uniforms forever. Don't worry about it, Joyce, I said, steering her quickly towards my Honda Civic. We need to talk. Did you bring the insurance? Joyce patted the oversized, terrible quilted shoulder bag she always carried. I kept it safe. Adam said to open it if I got arrested, but I didn't. I waited for you. I drove us straight to Jess's empty house. Jess was conveniently out of town visiting her sister, giving us total privacy. I needed a secure location. We sat down at Jess' kitchen island. I pulled out the envelope. It was surprisingly heavy. It was sealed with a piece of cheap Scotch tape. Are you sure you want to open this? Joyce asked, her voice trembling. Adam said this was Philip's dark secret. He said it would destroy him. Joyce, Adam destroyed us first, I pointed out, gesturing to her jail uniform impression. We need to know what we're holding before we call in any favors. I carefully slid a butter knife under the tape. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the envelope. Inside there were 2 items. One, the cashier's check drawn from a major investment firm account made out to Adam Thompson for exactly $2 million. It was dated 5 years ago. 2, a single heavy file folder labeled in Adam's precise authority figure handwriting, Lewis P. Project Chimera. We looked at the check first. It was real, $2 million. Adam had held onto this check for 5 years. He never cashed it, Joyce asked, bewildered. No, I realized. He didn't want the money, he wanted the leverage. He wanted to ruin Philip, but he needed a backup plan in case Philip fought back, which is why he orchestrated the fake pregnancy plot. He wanted to bleed him dry with the $150K settlement first, and then, if Philip got tough, Adam would expose the secret. I opened the file labeled Project Chimera. It wasn't a complex document. It was a signed confidentiality agreement and a single-page contract, dated 5 years ago. The contract was between Philip Lewis, 57M, and a biotech firm, outlining a specific project. The project was research into specific genetic markers related to a rare, highly aggressive form of early-onset dementia. Shocking part was the clause at the bottom, initialed by Philip. Philip Lewis was paying the biotech firm $2 million to destroy all proprietary research and patient data related to the study, and to specifically suppress the publication of findings that linked a certain genetic marker to his specific family line. I looked at Joyce. He was trying to bury the fact that a genetic disease runs in his family. But why? Joyce asked. As Philip is a shallow, entitled idiot who cares more about appearances than his family's health, NGL, I deduced. He paid $2 million 5 years ago to silence research that could have helped his children, just so the gossip wouldn't get out before his daughter's ridiculously expensive destination wedding. The contract revealed that Adam Thompson had been one of the key research associates on Project Chimera before he left the firm. Adam hadn't wanted the research destroyed, kept copies, and that $2 million check was likely part of the payment Adam demanded to sign his own NDA and walk away with the data intact, which he then used as leverage. The realization hit me. Adam wasn't targeting Philip for revenge over an ex-wife's sister's inheritance drama. That was just the cover story he fed Wayne. Adam was targeting Philip because Philip's attempt to bury scientific truth had cost Adam his job and his professional integrity 5 years ago. Adam wanted financial ruin and public exposure. This put me in a terrible spot. If I exposed Philip, I would ruin his family, but I would clear Joyce and Wayne by proving Adam's manipulation. If I held onto the information, Adam would keep running free. Fast forward to Saturday morning. A week went by where I was essentially sleeping on Jess' couch, trying to formulate a legal strategy and trying to track down Wayne. Joyce thankfully had found refuge with a cousin who didn't ask too many questions. I told her to stay silent and absolutely not talk to the police, the college, or anyone else. I finally reached Wayne on Saturday. He called from a payphone at a rest stop in Nevada. Megan, I'm so sorry, Wayne whispered, sounding terrified. I ran. Adam called me right after he left the college and told me I was next. He said I had to disappear or he'd have the police on me for grand larceny. I took my life savings $4,000 and drove west. Wayne, you need to come back, I said firmly, leaning into the phone. We can clear your name. We have proof Adam framed you. Proof of what, Megan? He sounded miserable. He set up that joint account, the one you asked him about, and he used my post office address for the notifications. When Philip's $150,000 was drained, it looked like I did it. Adam forged my signature on the withdrawal slips. He was practicing that for weeks in the lab. Remember how he kept asking me to sign expense reports for the reagent delivery? I did remember. I thought he was just being efficient. TBH, I was so focused on my corporate reports, I didn't pay attention. I was such an idiot. Wayne, we have $2 million worth of leverage, I told him, deciding to reveal the entire plan. Adam set up a conspiracy against Philip 5 years ago. We have the proof. Wayne listened silently as I explained Project Chimera. Philip, Wayne whispered. I knew he was a jerk, but suppressing medical research, that's low. Yes, and we need you back here, Wayne, to confirm Adam's forged signatures and corroborate the timeline. I've contacted Jess's lawyer, Rico. He specializes in complex negotiations, which I am pretty sure means legal blackmail. Wayne hesitated. I'm scared, Megan. I'm 70. I don't want to spend my final years fighting a psycho. I won't be fighting alone, I promised him. We're going to use this $2 million check and this documentation to make Adam disappear and to make Philip pay for the damages Adam caused us. By Tuesday, I was back in the lab, which was a deeply weird experience. I had 300 unread emails about how the genetics final project was now in jeopardy because 3 of the 4 group members had vanished or been arrested. Philip was there, looking wan and furious. Megan, he hissed, grabbing my arm as I walked in. We need to talk. Did you hear what happened? Some crazy woman who works admin here, Joyce, she tried to extort me, and Adam is missing. It's all connected to that idiot Wayne. I pulled my arm away. Philip, I know everything. The fake pregnancy, the $150K, the fake ultrasound appointment, and I know about Project Chimera. Philip's entitled wedding guest face immediately went stark white. The color drained out of him faster than an iced latte on a hot day. What are you talking about? He stammered, his voice suddenly squeaky. Chimera, I don't know that term. 5 years ago, early-onset dementia research, $2 million to suppress data. Does that ring any bells, Philip? I was surprisingly calm. All the raw fear had turned into cold, calculating focus. I felt like the corporate warrior I was supposed to be, except now I was negotiating my own freedom, not Q3 earnings. Philip looked around the empty lab. You can't prove that. That was all erased. I paid cash. I smiled sweetly. Adam Thompson didn't erase anything, Philip. He kept a copy of the contract and he held onto the check, the $2 million check for 5 years just for this moment. And guess who has the check now? I didn't actually pull out the check. I just kept my eyes locked on his. He started breathing heavily. Adam was blackmailing me. He was setting up this entire circus just to lure me out. He was setting up this entire circus to publicly shame you, ruin your daughter's wedding, and financially destroy you, I corrected him. You paid him $2 million 5 years ago to cover up something that could hurt your family, and he still wasn't done with you. The $150,000 he just stole from your account. That was the appetizer. He stole $150,000, Philip cried out, running a hand through his expensive, thinning hair. I thought it was a temporary glitch with the bank. I thought it was wiring fees. I just stared at him. The entitlement was so thick, I could practically taste it. He thought losing $150K was a wiring glitch. GL, I almost felt sorry for him, but then I remembered he was willing to sacrifice crucial medical research just to avoid a wedding day scandal. Here's the deal, Philip, I said, putting my laptop bag down. Adam is gone, but we have his leverage. We have the evidence that proves Adam is a long-term blackmailer and that Joyce and Wayne were his pawns. I also have the evidence that proves you tried to pay $2 million to suppress medical research, which, while not a crime, is terrible optics right before a destination wedding. I leaned in. Rico, my lawyer, is ready to file a massive wrongful incarceration and emotional distress suit against Adam, but we need 2 things. First, we need Adam to be publicly proven guilty, and second, we need the pawns to be compensated. What do you want? Philip asked, shaking. I want you to drop all charges against Joyce McLaughlin immediately. She needs to be completely cleared and have her bail money returned. Second, I want you to officially state to the police that Adam Thompson was extorting you using Wayne Edwards' name and that you suspect Adam forged those withdrawal slips. This clears Wayne of the $150,000 larceny charge, which is necessary because Wayne is a 70-year-old retired postal worker currently hiding in Nevada. Philip looked skeptical. And if you do that, I hand over the $2 million cashier's check and I destroy the file detailing Project Chimera, I said. We bury your terrible, shallow secret forever. You get to keep your wedding and your reputation and we get our lives back. You have until 5:00 p.m. today to contact the police and clear Joyce's name. He didn't argue. He just nodded miserably. 5:00 p.m. I was bluffing, of course. I wasn't going to destroy the evidence until I had every piece of legal protection signed, sealed, and delivered. But I needed him to think I was. Update. This morning, Philip Lewis showed up at my door, not the lab. My actual apartment, 3B, which is a massive breach of lab partner etiquette. He looked even worse than he did yesterday. He was wearing an expensive silk suit, but his tie was crooked, and he smelled strongly of Pepto-Bismol. Megan, I did it, he announced, walking right into my apartment without permission. I talked to the detective. I told them Adam was extorting me, and I showed them the text message Adam sent my wife. And Joyce? The charges are dropped. The bail money is being returned, he mumbled. They believe Adam is the mastermind, and they're issuing a warrant for his arrest. They think he fled the country using the $150,000. I felt a huge wave of relief wash over me. Joyce was free. The college admin was cleared. Now for Wayne. What about Wayne's name, Philip? Did you tell them you suspect Adam forged the signatures for the $150K? Philip sighed dramatically. Yes, I told them. The detective said they are now treating Wayne as a victim of financial abuse and will reach out to him in Nevada to get a statement. Small victory. I texted Wayne immediately. Stop hiding, call the police, NV branch, URCLE. Adam is on the run? Then I looked at Philip. Okay, now for the exchange. I handed him the sealed $2 million check in the file folder. He ripped open the envelope and saw the $2 million check. His eyes went wide. He actually held onto it, he whispered, like Adam was some sort of mythical creature. He used it as leverage, Philip, I repeated, trying to maintain my composure. He didn't want the money, he wanted the power over you. It was a power-hungry authority complex wrapped in a middle manager suit. Philip quickly scanned the contents of the Project Chimera file. He looked visibly relieved when he realized I hadn't made copies. I had, of course. Rico has 3 copies in a safety deposit box. And GL, I'm a corporate drone. I always secure the IP. Thank you, Megan, Philip said, sounding genuinely humbled for the first time in our 8-month acquaintance. I know I was a massive jerk, but you saved my family. I never should have let Adam get involved with the research firm. He looked at me, an idea dawning in his eyes. Tell you what, you covered Joyce's $25,000 bail. You deserve compensation. I'm going to zell you $50,000 right now. Consider it a thank you for dealing with this nightmare and saving me from a scandal. I didn't hesitate. My retirement fund needed that money. My conscience took about 2 seconds to shut up. Accepted, I said. My phone dinged instantly. $50,000 transfer confirmed. I waited until Philip was out of my apartment and my front door was locked before I jumped around my tiny living room like a giddy fool. $50,000 tax-free, and my life was about to become less insane. So it's been 2 weeks since I last saw Philip Lewis. The friend group has officially fractured, and honestly, it's for the best. Adam Thompson, 34M, last reported sighting was at a small resort in the Caribbean, where he was allegedly trying to sell forged corporate bonds to a retired dentist. The warrant for his arrest is national, but he's gone international with Philip's $150,000 and whatever other scam money he pulled in. I'm honestly not sure if he will ever face justice, and that's okay. Sometimes, running away forever is its own punishment. I did change my Netflix password, though. That felt amazing. Wayne Edwards, 70M, Wayne is back. He drove straight from Nevada and is staying with Jess, knitting cat sweaters and recovering. The police treated him exactly as I hoped, a victim of elder financial abuse. He's still heartbroken over Adam's betrayal, but he is helping the detective piece together the extent of Adam's fraud against the lab supply vendors and the college itself. He's looking much healthier and has been eating the breadsticks again. He also apologized repeatedly for not trusting me sooner. I told him he didn't need to apologize. He was being manipulated by a master. I'm still giving him side eye though, TBH. Philip Lewis, 57M, he went to Turks and Caicos for his daughter's wedding. I saw pictures on LinkedIn because of course he posted about the family vacation. He looks deeply stressed, but the wedding happened. He's keeping his secret buried. He did follow through on zelling me the $50K and paying back Joyce's $25K bail. He even sent me a $50 Starbucks gift card, which I found laughably passive-aggressive, but whatever. I'm taking the win. He is transferring out of the community college program. I guess molecular genetics wasn't his real passion. Joyce McLaughlin, 62F, Joyce is doing okay. He got her bail money back and is back at work, wearing mismatched clothes and talking about her cats. She told the detective everything about Adam and the fake pregnancy. She still has that $2 million cashier's check, by the way. Adam had made it out to himself, so she couldn't cash it easily, but she's working with Rico now, trying to figure out if she can legally claim it as evidence and potentially negotiate a smaller settlement for herself, given her wrongful incarceration. He's keeping me updated, and I am highly invested in her winning. Narrator, Megan King, 63F. I'm typing this from my tiny, clean, blessed Honda Civic, which I had detailed because I needed a physical fresh start. I did something I never would have done before. I quit my corporate job. Seriously. After dealing with Adam, Philip, the fake baby bump, and $2 million worth of emotional damage, dealing with quarterly reports seemed utterly pointless. Walked into my boss's office, handed in my 2 weeks notice, which I immediately converted to a 2-day notice after he had the audacity to complain about my exit interview responses, and walked out. I used a chunk of that $50K from Philip to cover my living expenses while I figure things out. I realized I had spent 40 years staring at spreadsheets, saving up for retirement, and being an invisible corporate drone, and Adam's insanity forced me to finally take a risk. I'm not saying I'm proud of every tactic I used, especially the blackmail component with Philip, but sometimes you have to play the game dirty when you're fighting a sociopath. I'm officially retired early, 63 and free. I still think about Adam sometimes, and I still have bad days where I feel totally unmoored and anxious. I'm unpacking layers with my therapist about why I let Adam treat me like an ATM and why I missed so many red flags. He said I was experiencing classic workplace manipulation that transferred into my personal life. I call it Tuesday. But yesterday, Jess and Wayne and I went out for dinner. We didn't go to Olive Garden. We went to a nice Italian place downtown. Wayne was telling us about a new volunteer opportunity at the local animal shelter. Jess was laughing so hard about a customer review that she snorted wine. And I was just sitting there, not checking my email, not worried about the P&L statement, just enjoying the silence of not being perpetually stressed. I'm eating ramen every day now, but I'm sleeping peacefully, so it's worth it. I even signed up for a pottery class. My credit score took a hit, but I'm no longer scared of Adam Thompson or any other manipulative middle manager. Whole thing taught me that sometimes, the most loyal people are the biggest fools, the entitled jerks are actually covering up deep, damaging secrets, and the fastest way to freedom is often by exposing the dark truth. And that having a secret bank account, real or imagined, is the best leverage you can have. I don't know what's next. Maybe I'll finally travel. Maybe I'll knit cat sweaters with Jess. Maybe I'll actually finish that advanced genetics certificate just for myself. All I know is the corporate life is over. I survived the friend group fracture, the false pregnancy claim, and the $2 million secret. And I walked away $50,000 richer, legally sound, and mentally exhausted but free. We'll update if I see Adam on the beach or if Joyce finally gets her hands on that $2 million. Anyway, that's the update. Wish me luck. I think I'm gonna be okay.